the Cambodian genocide happened in the mid-70s, between 1975 and 1979. So it's almost 4 years of where the Khmer Rouge really kind of closed the country. What they targeted on that time was intellectual and artists. 2 million people were killed. Someone who was wearing glasses were immediately killed and slaughtered. Teacher, people who were working in the government. Next year, 2015, will be 40 years after the fall of Phnom Penh and the beginning of the Cambodia genocide. So I thought that it would be such a good statement for an invitation to people coming from around the world that had been discussing on this issue of the role of arts and culture, and then bringing them to Cambodia, where 40 years ago one of the worst genocides had happened. It's an international convening, inviting people around the world, mostly I would say artists, thought leader, or leader of institutions or cultural institutions that had worked in country where huge transformations, either conflict, genocide, or even social transformation had happened. These conferences happen in the Western world. It happens in Europe, and I've went to a few of them in the US. What I was inspired by coming to Salzburg is that, well, we don't bring enough these discussions in the place where these issues happen. And I thought that it would be around this 40 years after the fall of Phnom Penh and the Cambodia genocide, it would be such a great invitation to bring people from Rwanda, from Mali, from Syria, from around the world that have been through that, and really share the Cambodia experience, but at the same time share case studies that all of us have been doing and working in the past few decades. I also then came on the second session last April, 2014, and it was about the role of arts and culture and conflict resolutions and transformations. I was really inspired because from my work in Cambodia, especially in a country that I could label ourselves as a post-conflict society after one of the worst genocide, it was really interesting to hear peers that were in Africa or in the Middle East that has went through the same issues as us, differently from different conflict zones and different issues, but at the same time where the role of arts and culture had played such a predominant role. From that second time here, when I came to Salzburg, I felt really inspired by the connectivity that Salzburg had allowed us to, come together, and almost like having that pause in our whole busy, engaged life, professional life, but then having a time to reflect on our work, but to reflect with other people that are doing similar work than us. Because for me, I keep saying that somehow I'm a product of Salzburg. I came here 3 times, and the discussions that I'm continuing back home is something that I have started here. The Salzburg Global Network of Young Cultural Innovators, I immediately thought like, well, how can I position Cambodia in the work that we're doing there? Then my thought had even evolved to say, well, thought leader cannot be nurtured in isolations. And so in our case, from a Cambodian perspective, we decided to extend the hub to be a regional hub. So right now we identify it as the Greater Mekong Regional Hub of Young Cultural Innovator. So the idea is to connect young cultural innovator in Phnom Penh with someone in Yangon, or someone in Bangkok, or someone in Ho Chi Minh. And so that we're bringing these young leaders together so that they're not just thinking about, oh, I'm the best in my country. We are the proudest nations of the world or the region. But in fact, I think with a regional exchange and perspective is then we bring these thought leader, young leader to really understand regional issues. The one who in the next decades, 2 decades and 3 decades will make the change. And I think the investment that we're making here, somehow, some of us will be able to see the change and some of us will not. So I think, focusing on the young leader and young cultural innovator is such a great concept and such a great thinking, because I think it's investing on the future and creating the hope.